Hey guys, and welcome to Dainty Bite. Today I'll be sharing with you the most famous dessert in my hometown, Knafeh. Follow all my tips and tricks and you'll get a successful, amazing Knafeh every single time. Let me show you how to make it and let's get started. I'm gonna start by prepping the simple syrup, 1 cup of sugar, half a cup of water and 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, and I place it over low heat. And here are most of the ingredients, and the most important thing is the Knafeh dough. And here I have a fine Knafeh dough that's already mixed in with some ghee. You can buy yours fresh or frozen depending on where you live. For the cheese, you can use Akawi cheese or Nablussie cheese. These are the two most preferable cheeses. Today I'm using Akawi in a block form. It's very low in salt. You don't have to do anything except cut it into bigger pieces just like you see here. And here you can see the pan that I'm using. It's a shallow edge pan and it's 10 inches in diameter. I'm gonna add a very generous amount of ghee, grass-fed ghee. This is the kind that I used, but you can use any kind you like. I used about 2.5 tablespoons. I'm gonna spread it generously at the bottom of the pan. Now this is perfect. Now I'm gonna start spreading the Knafeh dough on top of the ghee in a very thin layer, about 1 centimeter or half an inch, and I'm gonna pack it very well. And like I said earlier, I'm using a ready Knafeh dough, but if you're using a kunefeh or a shredded phyllo dough that's in the freezer, you're gonna have to take it out of the freezer, put it in the food processor and make it as fine as this one, and then add to it a cup of ghee and mix it in very well. And this is about right. Now I'm gonna push on it and press it very well. I added a little more than half a pound of the dough and I'm packing it very well. And now it's time to add the cheese. And the cheese has to be very dry, so make sure to squeeze out all excess water. And using a block cheese just like the one I used, it barely has any water or any liquids, so it's very easy to use. And I'm gonna add a very generous amount of cheese to cover the whole surface. I always leave all the amounts and all the ingredients in the description box below, so check it out. Press the cheese as well and the Knafeh is ready for the stove. And I don't forget about the simple syrup. It's cooking on low heat. When it comes to a boil, I leave it for 2 to 3 minutes and then turn the heat off. I hardly mess with it, just make sure the sugar is all melted at the bottom of the pot. And this is my preferred way of cooking the Knafeh on top of the stove. You're gonna keep the heat between medium and low. Use your judgment, and I'm gonna alternate between medium and low heat and keep on rotating the pan. I'm not gonna leave it for a second. I'm gonna keep on watching it and rotating the pan all the time. I want all the edges and the middle to be golden. And you can pat the cheese with a paper towel to make sure it stays very dry. 15 minutes later, the sides are starting to pull away and the cheese is melting nicely, and that's what I'm looking for. And now for the moment of truth, we're gonna flip it into a plate or platter, and preferably it's an oven safe platter if you want to reheat the knafe. Be very careful, it's super hot. And look at that, it looks beautiful, the color, no food coloring, nothing, it's just the ghee and the knafe dough, and it's giving me this beautiful orange golden color. Now I'm gonna pour the very hot syrup on top of the very hot knafe, and it should absorb it right away. I'm not gonna add the whole amount though, I'm gonna add half of it and see how it tastes. Half of the amount was quite enough for this amount of knafe. The only thing left to do is garnish with lots of pistachios and some toasted pine nuts and serve the most amazing melt in your mouth knafe. I hope you give this recipe a try. It's so easy to make and so good. And until next time, bon appétit!